Merci beaucoup encore à tous nos orateurs en tant que...
Many thanks to the different speakers. I would like to make the most of this opportunity to extend my most sincere thanks to the organizers, to our friends from the land of Baden-Württemberg, to the Benelux Union, to the House of Dutch Provinces. And I would like now to give you an indication of our final and concluding speakers. The first to speak is the State Secretary in the Ministry of Environment, Climate and Energy from the land of Baden-Württemberg. Next, we will hear from Philippe Mongean, the Vice President for Bioeconomy, Bioenergies and Sustainable Food from the Great East region. And finally, the last speaker will be David Cléraval, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for the Self-Employed, SMEs and Agriculture, Institutional Reforms and Democratic Renewal, who will speak on behalf of the Belgian Presidency of the EU Council. And we're going to start with André Bowman. Mr. Bowman, I now give you the floor.
Sehr geehrte Mitglieder des Europäischen Parlaments, sehr geehrte
Dear members of the European Parliament, dear ministers, dear regional partners, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends from bioeconomy, I think you will all agree with me in saying that we had a wonderful day, a very interesting day where we talked about bioeconomy. I would like to thank each and every one of you. Thank you to all of you who have been instrumental in making this event such a big success. And I would like to acknowledge Mr. Peter Haag, the Minister. Thank you very much to you, sir, because throughout the day we have insisted on the importance and relevance of bioeconomy. And this has been clearly demonstrated, among others, by the fact that Belgium, but also the European Parliament, have accepted to sponsor this event. I would like also to thank the permanent representation of Baden-Württemberg with the European Union. I must say that we had a very fruitful discussion here as part of the Rhine-Meuse forum. The discussion was a timely discussion. In less than 6 months, there's going to be a new European Parliament as well as a new European Commission. But my hope is that they continue the work that has been initiated by the current Commission under the auspices of under the leadership of Commissioner von der Leyen. I must say that there has really been a paradigm shift. I'm here talking about the paradigm shift that the adoption of the Green Deal represents. We know what the prerequisites are if we wanted to achieve a thriving economy, but also a thriving ecology. I must say that after the debates that we have had here today, I am even more convinced than I was of the fact that a well-functioning bioeconomy is certainly a necessary pillar and a solid foundation upon which the European Union and the Green Deal should be based. Bioeconomy is going to make us less dependent on the supply of energy, insofar as bioeconomy, among others, will make it possible for us to reuse a certain number of materials and raw materials. It will be a way to reduce our consumption of fossil fuels and fossil energies as well. So we really rely on the upcoming European Commission for enhancing this mechanism and stepping up the efforts going in this direction. And to my mind, I think that we should make more use of biomass, as we must make more use of waste and consider waste as real secondary raw materials. But this will only be possible if there are proper recycling procedures in place. We should talk more in terms of streams of materials. We need to make sure that the processes that we use are bio-based processes. And finally, I would like to refer to an ERDF project which we have undertaken in collaboration with our friends from the Great East region. Tests have been made in a wastewater treatment plant. The objective of these tests was to see how we can recover nitrogen from wastewater so that we can use the nitrogen that we have recovered in order to produce fertilizers. Mother Nature is very good at recycling these materials. In nature, there's no waste. And I think that the most expert at doing this are insects. Thanks to evolution, this is something that they have learned to do, and they do this very efficiently. We're here talking about millions of tons of biomass, which unfortunately, as we speak, are very often incinerated. And it really is a pity, because this is material that can be recycled, that can be reused as a new raw material. And we should make sure that we take full advantage of these new streams of materials and products. We need to adapt. We need to adapt to these new possibilities and these new opportunities. It's true that in the past, we only talked about waste, but it's important to change the way we look at waste, because what we used to consider to be waste in the past will be stuff that can be used as secondary raw material. And this is certainly the call that we want to make in Brussels as well as in Strasbourg. And this is exemplified by a facility where biomass is reused. They use there a black fly. And it had been decided, and rightly so, in the past, not to give to the livestock products of animal origin. But, you know, a fly is not a cow. And this is certainly what we should be aiming for. And we hope to aim for it sooner rather than later. But for this we need a framework, a proper framework in order to fully enhance a bioeconomy. And this is a framework that should be decided upon at local level. And here we are, the two regions, the Baden-Württemberg region and the Great East region, are present here today. And we, the Rhine-Meuse region, we wish to improve the possibilities of creating more of these industries. These are industries that produce waste as well as wastewater. In Baden-Württemberg, 50% of the population lives in urban areas. Within the European strategy on bioeconomy, proper consideration should be given to the urban areas as well. And it's really comforting to see that the European Commission 2 years ago has worked on the strategies for bioeconomy, and this has resulted in an increasing number of bioeconomy strategies. Look at what is available at your level, at the level of the regions. We in Baden-Württemberg, we also have developed our own strategy, and this is a strategy that we first developed in 2013. It is a strategy that is not cast in stone. We'll continue to adapt this strategy, and we are the third worldwide region after the US to have adopted such a regional strategy. And this should be regarded as a contribution to making sure that we can continue being pioneers, just like there have been pioneers in Belgium, in the Great East region. We find ourselves at the very heart of Europe, and that is why it pleases me to see that all together we have decided that we were more than ready to find the necessary solutions. Within the fund that we have created, we have demonstrated that there is a common and enlarged understanding of what bioeconomy is, and this will certainly be conducive to an even more sustainable growth, and this will help us reach the carbon neutrality objective. I wish you well. I wish you a safe trip back home. I wish you well in your different regions and countries, and I hope you found this event informative. Thank you very much, and see you in a not too distant future, I hope. Mr. Deputy Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Belgium, Mr. State Secretary of the Land of Baden-Württemberg, ladies and gentlemen, dear members of parliament, dear regional representatives, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to say how happy I was of having contributed to this forum on the Green Deal and the contribution of bioeconomy and renewable resources. As we've seen today, this is an essential contribution, but I will come back to this later. I would like to thank and congratulate all of the panelists. I must say that the exchanges were very interesting and very informative. I learned a great deal. This today's event has given us the urge and the need to work more together to further enhance the cooperation among us. As Europe is considering its future, and as Europe prepares to go to the polls for the European elections in June, the future of the Green Deal should be at the very center of the debate. Of course, the many ambitious pieces of European legislation which have been adopted recently will have to be implemented. But beyond that, we certainly need to catch our second wind, and we need to keep asking ourselves, what are the future prospects for this Green Deal? To me, to us, it is clear that bioeconomy and renewable resources represent an essential solution because, as it has been demonstrated throughout the day, they combine a remarkable prospect for economic development with a significant contribution to the decarbonization of our industrial and agricultural activities. Bioeconomy is one of the levers that we should push if we hope to make the Green Deal more concrete. Very modestly, in the name of the Great East region, I would like to share with you the successful experience of our region. The Great East region is very young. It was created back in 2016 only. And at the time when it was created, we have worked on an economic development program. We've drawn up an inventory of the economic fabric present at our level, and we've realized that there is a significant number of bioeconomy actors. Among them, we have the EAR competitiveness cluster, which has been renamed into B4C, Bioeconomy for Change. We've also acknowledged the presence and the commitment of universities in research activity and in the dissemination of bioeconomy activities. And we've also acknowledged the presence of a great many economic actors. So bioeconomy in the Great East region, which, by the way, is the first farming region in France, and our region has an agriculture and as farmland and forest land, which represent a real reservoir of biomass. And that is why we have decided to put bioeconomy at the very heart of our program for economic development. And if I may, I would like to elaborate on the method that we relied upon, because it is very important, and it's certainly one of the ingredients contributing to the success that we've achieved. We've gathered the hundreds or so actors at the occasion of a general conference dedicated to bioeconomy, and together with them we have decided to put in place a strategic guidance committee specialized in bioeconomy. In this council are present every family of actors: academia, obviously, with basic and applied research departments, but also the industry, startup companies, the world of agriculture, obviously. And this guidance committee has defined a roadmap that we will follow to ensure the development of bioeconomy across the Great East region. Together, we have co-constructed with all of the actors 5 sectoral agreements. 3 of these 5 sectoral agreements have been signed already, and the remaining 2 are still in the drafting process. These concern biotechnologies, the plant-based chemistries, the bio inputs. This is a topic that we haven't really addressed today, but we know how essential it is to work on this if we wanted to find a substitute for pesticides. We also have sectoral agreements on the proteins of the future. As it has been said, at some point today we are way too over-dependent on imports coming from South America. So this is the approach that we have opted for. And thanks to this approach, we now enjoy an ecosystem that brings together no longer 100 actors like it was the case at the moment of its creation in 2016, but rather 400 of them. Between 2017 and 2022, while regional employment grew by only 5.8%, in the bioeconomy sector, the number of jobs increased by 9.4%, meaning that jobs were created twice as fast in the bioeconomy sector as in the rest of the economy. Since 2020, we have had no less than 206 bioeconomy projects. These 206 bioeconomy projects have already been benefiting from our support. They have been supported up to a level of 54 million euros, which have been committed by the region out of a total budget of more than 1.5 billion euros. Figures are clear. Bioeconomy is a local, sustainable, circular economy that is totally in tune with the challenges of our time. It offers practical alternatives that can immediately be a substitute for solutions based on the exploitation of fossil resources such as oil, gas, and coal. Bioeconomy is a key element of our regional, national, and European sovereignty, which has a very tangible impact on the economy of all of our regions, and especially in the rural areas. Bioeconomy is one that will enable us to progressively and sustainably move away from fossil fuels and move towards renewable resources derived from biomass and waste. For over 20 years, both academic and industrial players in our region have been working hand in hand with a view to developing bioeconomy. You've met several of them today. Back in 2023, we have renewed our strategy. We have used an approach that was presented to you this morning. We have created a directorate, the Directorate for the Living Economy. This has been said time and time again today. We should no longer think in silos. We need a cross-cutting approach. Bioeconomy was located everywhere across our department, but this now belongs to the past. We now have a directorate fully dedicated to the living economy, and this will contribute to a cross-cutting approach. This aims at improving the resilience of the territory, the preservation of resources, while respecting a hierarchy of uses. We've just referred to the possible competition between the food and the non-food uses. And it goes without saying that we should pay special attention to the introduction of a certain hierarchy that would be beneficial for the food industry. But you know, the biomass of today is really a far cry from what the biomass of the future is going to be. We're going to develop the introduction of biomass, and we will do so for economic reasons, because barren soil is certainly something that we can no longer accept. We should make sure that they are covered throughout the year. This offers ample opportunities for the production of biomass. We have certainly managed to help the creation of 7 biorefineries. A biorefinery is a platform. It is an industrial platform that brings together several actors. These actors will meet. They will meet because they are intimately convinced that they are complementary to one another. And that is why across these biorefineries and these platforms, the byproducts from some industrial actors are in fact the products that other actors are going to use. This concept of a platform is something that we consider to be essential, and our region is characterized by the emergence of these platforms that these biorefineries are. I don't want to be too long, but please allow me to say here that we, across the Great East region, but I'm sure that this is also a position that you will find in other countries, we want to be proactive and we want to further enhance our collaboration. Of course, the collaboration with the European bodies and institutions, but also the collaboration among us, because as it has been clearly demonstrated, we have solutions which have been developed, and we should make sure that others can take full advantage of them. And now we really can't wait for working more together. We shouldn't forget the citizens. We should engage citizens. Bioeconomy, for many of our fellow citizens, is something that they do not really understand. Very often, whenever they think bioeconomy, they think organic farming. But bioeconomy should really penetrate the daily lives of the consumers and of our fellow citizens. This started with cosmetics, and this has gone really further. When you go shopping, when you drive your car, you see more and more bioeconomy products. Bioeconomy has all the assets that will make it possible to achieve the objectives of the Green Deal. And we should make sure that we offer our children a desirable future. Finally, I would like to extend an invitation to you. I invite you to attend the BioCat trade fair that the Bioeconomy for Change cluster is going to organize this year in a most beautiful and welcoming region. This is the region of Champagne. This trade fair will take place in Reims on the 19th, 20th and 21st of March. We will meet with people coming from every part of the world. So I invite you to this trade fair. I invite you to this trade fair in the name of Jacques Leroy. Thank you very much, and I wish all of you well. Thank you.
Secretary of State, Vice President of the Grand East region, deputies, ladies and gentlemen. It was important for me to be here with you today to talk about the common stakes for our agriculture and urban areas. In Europe, we take decisions together. This is why the work with the Grand East region, from which I stem, because I stem from the Ardennes region, the debate bringing us together here today is very important. Questions linked to economic and environmental sustainability of our agriculture sector is very important. The subject of your conference is currently in the news because, as you have read, everywhere in Europe, our farmers are protesting. The first mission of our agriculture is to feed our citizens. We need sustainable agriculture. It means productive. It means economically viable for farmers, and it needs to preserve our environment. Every week, I've had the opportunity to talk with farmers. I can perceive their anger. They're not always protesting for the same reasons. It's not the same reason that are bringing agricultures on the streets in Germany, France, or the Netherlands. But I think there is a common underlier, because they are questioning our Green Deal and the farm-to-fork policy. The Green New Deal was announced in 2020, before the COVID-19 crisis and before the war in Ukraine. The European Commission introduced us to the farm-to-fork strategy, which aims to reduce our use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides from 20 and 50%, and also to reduce the land mass or increase our organic farming. The European Commission published an impact analysis combining the results of the farm-to-fork strategy and the European Green Deal. The conclusions are quite worrying because production has been reduced by 10 to 15% in oil seeds, in cereals, in dairy production. The reduction could also touch poultry and pork by 15 and 5% respectively. Europe is consequently going to have to increase its imports rather than supporting its farmers. The results of this study is very similar to similar results found in the United States or by studies from the University of Wageningen in the Netherlands. So the reaction has been quite angry. How can our farmers produce sufficiently with less means? Following the war in Ukraine, the debate concerning food security has been brought to the forefront of debates, and that's why there are doubts within Europe of these objectives, especially concerning our future goals. I am sure that in the same way we have treated our energy and industrial policy, we need to consider agriculture policy as a strategic sector. Agriculture has the role to ensure food sovereignty of our population, and farmers should be justly rewarded for their work. We need to link these from a global perspective and should not just be a single part of the European Green Deal. Let me present you the objectives of the Agri-Fish Committee of the Belgian presidency of the European Council. We have to ensure that Europe and European agriculture has its place in a changing world. That's why the priority of our country will be competitiveness. Competitiveness in the agricultural sector. We need to increase our strategic autonomy and food security. the common agriculture policy is key in this area. We need a refreshed version of the common agriculture policy. You know that the current common agriculture policy, CAP, distributes money to each member state that distributes the money. So in Belgium, we even have two different CAPs. We've got the Flemish and the Walloon approach. So we really want to see how each country can innovate, what good practices exist within the agricultural sector. So we need to have new benchmarks that will help us to think about the future of the PAC. I was able to talk with the Commissar Walensky on these issues. Today we see that the CAP isn't achieving its results, the hoped results. It's been complexified, and there is a lot of work to do. I welcome the fact that the President of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, initiated yesterday strategic dialogue regarding environmental law as an answer to the movement in the agriculture sector in several countries. So there is a need to re-establish dialogue with farmers. Research and innovation are essential engines to accelerate our access to food sovereignty. Innovations have to be encouraged. Through innovations, the farming sector will be able to become more sustainable and more competitive, or maintain its competitiveness. Our economic objectives show that we can reduce our use of fertilizers, increasing the resistance of our plants to diseases. Precision agriculture works, using drones, for instance, for crop diagnosis or for spraying works. But currently, we are still working on the legislation, and we hope that through our trilogue, we will be able to initiate the debate. So we talked about fertilizers, bio-inputs, biofertilizers, are very important. Here in the Netherlands and in Belgium, we has a lot of remnants that can be transformed into pellets, pellets that can be used as alternatives to chemical fertilizers. But even in Belgium, it's not possible to transfer waste from Flanders to Wallonia, for instance. So we see that there still are real issues we really need to work on to favor bio-inputs. Good soil use is also important. We talked about the bioeconomy, so I completely share your analysis of the question. It is, for me, evident that the bioeconomy will be part of the solution. It will carry innovations that will compensate all the constraints put in place by the European Green Deal. We need to be able to establish these measures easily to provide real answers for our farmers. These technologies will enable us to reduce our environmental footprint without reducing our food production. I would like to finish my intervention by underlining that we acknowledge the effort already given by the agricultural sector in the transition, and that they measure all the importance of biodiversity because they live in the middle of their environment. They are also the first to be affected by climate change. So through innovation, through new technologies, we will be able to find solutions for these big issues in the agricultural sector. In Europe, we have the highest sanitary and phytosanitary rules to produce high quality produce, but our farmers sometimes perceive this as being unfair in comparison to all those producers that are not facing all these constraints. So our real preoccupation to achieve high standards should not be at the cost of the competitiveness of our farmers. All these elements are at the heart of our policy that we will put forward with the Belgian presidency. These are ambitious targets. Because due to the elections in the European Parliament, we have a limited time to put our issues forward, but I hope we will manage this. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the key points I wanted to communicate to you. I would like to congratulate you for all the work that was put in today. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a good day.